We're jumping right in.
Oh, we're jumping right in it. Hi guys, welcome in to an episode of the Fly High Wi-Fi Mental Health Podcast. Uh, I myself am Praz, Sharp, Ryan, whatever you want to call me, and we have Mrs. Wi-Fi here, or Alyssa. It's been a little while since we've done one. We've been busy. Summertime usually kicks our butts. Both of us are in construction, so it's a little busy, but we're back. We'll get everything. But in the meantime, if you guys haven't checked us out on all the major streaming apps, we are out there with the Fly High Wi-Fi podcast, and it's current with every episode that we've ever done. So you guys are more than welcome to go back and listen to them. Uh, please share with people. You never know what people are going through and what it could mean just be it by listening to one of our podcasts. If it makes a difference for you, it might make a difference for somebody else. So we're going to continue doing these as much as we can and try to bring new topics as much as we can also, and then reiterate on some that are a little bit bigger than others. The topics we have today are your turn.
um, my turn. We have like 5 more minutes.
Yeah, I couldn't wait 5 more minutes. No, I was ready. I'm freezing in here. The game room needs to warm up.
um, Something I wanted to touch on last month was Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We've done a podcast on that. We just didn't get to talk about it or bring it back up. So go
Right.
ahead and kind of remember that, reiterate yourself on that. Um, Tonight, kind of three topics. First two are kind of smaller, so if we have enough time, we can jump into the third, or we can leave the third for next
Another
time.
episode.
Yeah. So the first one we're going to talk about is mental health in schools, just like the statistics from 2024. So that would be like end of last year for them because they're just kicking off their school year this year. Getting a cold. My room's
I know
cold
I'm
too. So my
frozen right
nose is
now.
like running.
My little tootsies are numb.
So 97 of public 97% of public schools offer some type of mental health service. Um,
That's
but
good.
only 19% of students on average use these services.
No, that's not good.
So that's the kicker is they have a lot of these services available, but only 19% of students use them. But we'll get into, I think, more as to why only so many students are using them. School leaders have concerns. So 43% of school leaders are moderately or extremely concerned about their students' mental health. And 41% are concerned about the mental health of their teachers and staff.
Okay.
So there's been an influx in the last few years of actual teachers and staff leaving like education careers due to mental health issues. And then school leaders' ability to meet student needs. Only 48% of public schools feel they have or feel they can effectively meet students' mental health needs. So this
What
number
was that percentage?
has been 48%. So less
Only
than
so
half of schools feel like they can.
48% of schools feel they can meet the needs. That's crazy. We need to get that number up.
So if you think about only 48% feel like they can meet the needs of the 19% that are using what's available to them.
Yeah, that's not good. I'm trying to think like
Um,
it's just getting students to come forward and feel comfortable with it. I think a lot of it has to do with, and I'm sure
so
bullying has a lot to do with it, and we know how rough kids can be. I I know how kids were when I was in school. I can imagine it's a lot deeper now though because you have cyber and
mhm.
now you have in person. So not only are you facing it in school or in public places with other friends, but now you're facing it online. So
I haven't thought about this on a lot. Um, because when I was in school, it was kind of like you fought it out and then you moved about your business. And
Right.
to a point, we like almost joked about it, but if a fought would break out like in the cafeteria, everyone would get quiet because we knew it
Right.
was like a tension that they had built up that they needed to work it out. So nobody was cheering, nobody was drawing attention to teachers because we were just letting them do what they needed to do. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, those people were friends the next week, not condoning fighting. But like you're saying, it's a very different world from when I was in school, when you were in
Yeah,
school,
right.
to now. And we weren't fighting on like social media. We
Right.
also talked about MySpace. It was very publicly like you had your top 10 friends and you would like very
Top
easily
eight,
like
but
move
yeah.
them or whatever it was. You would move them around like very publicly. You'd be like, "Yep, I'm mad at this friend right now. You move down the list." Like
Right.
it
You would
wasn't
know.
like
We just talked about this. Who was I talking to about this? It's like it really is. It's one of those things like you pulled them out of your top eight and they knew it. Everybody knew it.
and it would just you knew that was going on.
Yeah.
But I think it started to come out when I was in high school. It kind of started to become more stigmatized. I actually had a friend that tried to commit suicide when I was in high school, and that's when it started. Like you started to realize that maybe people weren't as open about it
Right.
as you'd think. She was pulled out of school for about 2 months to get back on track. So a lot of us were bringing her schoolwork, um, trying to help her along her journey. But again, we all came together to help her. It wasn't something that people looked at in a bad way. I think
Right.
now a lot of people wouldn't come back to school because of it would be all online. It would be XYZ. Very different feel even in that sense.
Right. And I know we had young man Brian. He took his own life in middle school. Um, and I don't think the school really knew how to handle it back then for us because they pulled all the students in the auditorium and let them know the news, and they talked it out, and then the counselor went into each room and was like, hey, if you guys need anybody to talk to, or if anybody was close to him, or anybody that knew him, or for anybody this might hit home in a different way, if you would like to come talk to us, our doors are always open. And I don't recall not one person going. So because he was bullied, the person that did it was bullied. So those who bullied him now see you going to talk about your issues with the counselor are then more than likely going to bully you too. And that's, I think, how it gets seen still today.
Mhm.
Shows a sign of weakness, and nobody wants to do that, but it's not a sign of weakness. And that's one of the biggest things that we got to start instilling in our kids.
Mhm.
Guys, start being part of the solution, not the problem. And I know a lot of you that watch the gaming channel, we bully each other joking around and having fun and talk crap to each other nonstop. But at the end of the day, we're all there for each other in a serious note. And a lot of the stuff, like I'm waiting for my kids to start popping off on saying things that I say, and I'm gonna have to reprimand it hard because, uh, well, I say they won't be weak. I'll tell you that because they'll have thick skin. um, and that's another thing like the military taught us, like thick skin, don't always take every word as it's for. Think, process it, understand it, and then channel your feelings. So it's it's a touchy subject.
Mhm. Um, so it also talks about youth with major depressive episodes. So I think kind of relating back to my friend, I don't really know. I don't want to say she was bullied, but she did struggle with mental health and was kind of like where it hits home with that story.
Okay.
Um, 20.17% of youth aged 12 to 17 report having at least one major depressive episode in the past year. Um, and that can range something in their life has happened to kind of bring it on. They might just naturally struggle. With depression, it could be anything, but that's 20%, almost 21% between 12 and 17 that
But
are
how many kids
experiencing
didn't come forward in that though? Also,
it.
so
Hmm.
it's another thing of showing signs of weakness, and so I'm gonna guess that statistics a little bit higher for the kids that didn't come forward with it.
And yeah, probably a lot higher,
Yeah,
but
because I know, again, like, and then back when I was in school, depression wasn't really talked about.
you know,
It's more talked about now, and it's more common to be seen and noticed than it was back then too, because there's more awareness, and that's where the internet is a godsend and the devil in one.
that's going to be the next thing is screen dependence, a growing concern among children and teens, with a study showing that teens spend an average of 7.5 hours per day in front of the screen. They spend a work day in front of the screen.
Phones, tablets, computers at school, computers at home, video games, like it's all there. And
Mhm.
I'm guilty of it. My kids have iPads, they have video games, they have phones. They have a DVD player in a damn car.
Yeah,
So
that's
even
true.
that TV, so
So not that it's a bad thing, but like the average time that they're showing the average time that children are spending on it, but there's a growing correlation between like the mental health with the screen times.
they do say, I remember like the study of ADHD and stuff, and how certain things help like progress it and help it. Um, they do say like the brain stimulation of the screen time and the video games to help you think fast and react and
Mm-hmm.
strategize, puzzle solving, all that stuff. So
I think if it's used productively, then it's different.
yeah, but when they're just, all right, you're home from school, go. Or, all right, we're going to the restaurant, and you sit down and eating, instead of forcing them kids to interact in conversation, or they're getting loud or out of hand and they're acting up. So what do? You plop a phone or a tablet in front of them, make them watch Netflix, and it's become a common occurrence everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I know, me and my wife talked about not having TVs in the kids' bedrooms for the longest time, but we folded. There's TVs, video games, there's everything in their room. So I'm guilty of it. But my kids
It's
also
easy
right now have straight A's and
to,
B's in one, straight A's in the other. So I'm must be doing something a little bit right.
um, it's just like everything. This isn't like a cut all be all. Everything's different.
Marcus
Um,
said we just went over this with my daughter and TikTok. Someone that once was her friend was posting rude comments on her private account. Yeah, and cyberbullying right there, and it's becoming a more common thing to get charged with.
yeah, they will take it, especially if something like harm or
Harm
suicide comes
is, yeah,
about from it. Yeah.
yep,
Um, they will use that content as evidence. Now they won't just be like what's happening in school. They will go to what's happening on social media
everything,
and
yeah,
stuff like that.
and they dig. And just because you
Mhm.
guys listen, I promise you now, just because you guys think you delete stuff, it's not deleted. Even if you know a lot about computers, you're not getting it out of the computer just by putting it in the recycling bin. There's ways they'll find it. Don't think you're better than the computer. It gets saved everywhere. Hell, every log you talk to Siri, Alexa, it's all documented in their cloud. So anything you've ever asked, there's in there.
Mhm.
About the guy that
Rabbit
got
hole
caught
this
asking.
discussion.
Okay, we'll do
I
that
would
later.
say there's people. I mean, you can go down that rabbit hole. Go ahead.
That is a rabbit hole, that's for sure. Nothing
I
goes
was gonna say,
unnoticed. Just put it that way.
yeah, I was gonna say, there's been court cases where they've used your Alexa and they've been able
Well,
to use that as court evidence.
a guy asked Siri where to hide a dead body. That's why you can't ask her how to hide a dead body no more. she'll say like not this again, and then she'll ignore you. It's
So you
wild.
tried.
And he got caught.
Um, so there has statistics about parents' concern. 85% of public schools reported that parents or guardians have expressed concerns about bullying or cyberbullying, and 82% have concerns about their child's mental health. So again, this ties back to all of the things that we were talking about.
That means people are paying more attention.
Yes.
That's where awareness is good.
Um, 58% of schools in a School Pulse survey said that the number of students who sought mental health services from their schools have increased a little or a lot compared to last year. So it is growing that people are, or that students are reaching out. However, schools face a number of challenges to meet their students' mental health needs, according to these same surveys. One big lack in mental health is due to mental health staff and funding.
Funding. I was gonna say it. Money. They're always the last ones, but
Yep.
yet all these casinos and gambling are supposed to go towards fixing the roads and the schools, right?
Mm-hmm. So many schools have used these federal funds to hire school counselors, social workers, and psychologists, and contract with outside providers. However, they're still struggling to meet these needs.
Yeah.
55% of schools in the survey reported they did not have enough mental health staff to manage student needs. 54% said they struggled with inadequate funding, and 49% said they could not find enough licensed mental health professionals.
Makes me want to go volunteer at the school. Like any kid that just wants to come talk to somebody new. Like just come talk to me. I might not have the answers, but I'm here to listen. Because it's sad. And they might not have anybody at home to talk to.
Um,
Because the parents might be hard on them.
no,
Tell
and that's
them,
part of
suck it up and drive on
mhm,
kind of thing.
yep. So, and that might be why they're kind of trying to go to these resources.
I know if I would have told my dad I was struggling with mental health or depression, he would have just laughed at me and moved on. Now he understands it more, and now, like, with the military background and the things that I've talked to him about, and he understands, like, I go through my episodes where there's days or weeks I'll just lay there and I won't have any reason. Is
And it might be because that stigma is changing, and you're saying with the military,
yeah.
but it goes back to not having that. Like when you were growing up, you didn't have that. So
Mm.
maybe if you have it in school to teach you, or if your parents did teach you when you were growing up, would be different.
My dad did take me to a counselor after my mom took her own life when I was 10. Um, and he was more mad at the money he was spending versus me needing help with the counselor. It was one of those things, you're costing me $150 a session for an hour and you're not getting better. Or he never asked like if I was getting better or what I was struggling with. He was more, well, are you done with this so I can stop spending the money? Or but the school recommended that I take counseling because I was acting up. I was doing fighting, like talking back to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
like stealing, doing all kinds of dumb stuff. It was all acts.
Have
So
you played the telltale sign?
yeah, there is signs, but no one's watching. So
Um, I think too, especially if you're in counseling, if you start to get to a point where you can afford it, you can talk with your therapist about negotiating prices. Just
you
an
can.
FYI to people.
There is state regulations on cost, but they can if there is people in need.
So,
Just like there's state regulations on labor for vehicles to be fixed, guys. They can adjust those
mhm.
to help others. It's just on the shop and on the actual therapist.
So this moves also into a student perspective. They talk about to assume students today are comfortable reaching out for help about mental health issues would be a mistake. That just because the stigma is breaking doesn't mean that they aren't struggling to reach out and that they're not that they are comfortable going to adults to get the help that they need.
Okay.
They say if a student is struggling or if one of them are struggling, the signals are going to be um, likely to start with their peers. So teaching them and breaking that stigma to understand and know what to watch for so that maybe if that student is not reaching out for help, the peers can go around and let somebody know that there are those signs going on so that somebody else can maybe go to that student instead of the student going to somebody else for help.
And that should be something they teach is like the identifiers of these things, the signs, the identifiers, this just as human nature, a lot of people do the same things when they're going through these things. And I know
Mm-hmm.
the military taught us a lot of things on it too, because it's one of the biggest things with the military suicide or mental health, depression, anxiety. Um, but that should be a class they teach. Like maybe do it all in one day in the school. Don't just have the whole auditorium full and have somebody talk about it. Have the teachers do it individually so they can then be aware of the things that they're looking for as they teach it. Um, so many ideas that
It
can go
could be
through
part of
this.
a health class. It could be a lesson. Like it could
Yeah,
just be added into what they teach. And it's a student that has said this, so it's students asking to be taught this.
right. I'm sure there's more kids out there that would love to know these things and try to help their friends or be able
I
to help
mean,
them or
like we said, it's so prevalent. It's happened so much that they're being impacted by it too. So it's something that they do want to learn.
yeah.
I guess listen to what they're asking for. I mean, they're learning everything they need to learn to teach them something that they want to learn.
Mr.
Offer
Muffin
it as an
said
elective or something.
Mr. Muffin says it's really bad when kids that have no idea what they're feeling are trying to diagnose another kid. Exactly. That's why it's got to be taught. Um, and it's not that they have to diagnose that kid. They
It's
just need
reaching out
to
for help.
just check on them, and try to be there for your friends. It could be just as simple as asking how their day was or if everything's all right at home. They might be free to talk that one time, and it's not saying run to the police if they have these thoughts or run to somebody to do that. It's ask them what you can do to help. And then if you feel like they need more help outside of your ear, go get them help. These guys in chat are trying to troll me right now.
I see it now.
Yeah, it's always
Um,
Rumfield. He's always
that's
doing silly stuff.
that's all I had for that.
Okay. Guys, if you have
Yeah.
children in chat, pay attention to them as they might be reaching out for help. They might not be receiving it. We said that 80, what was it? 87% of schools have, or something, 93% or something like that. It was high. It was real high, but the
90,
percentage was 19.
so 97% of public schools offer some type of mental health service, but only 19% of students are using them on average.
97% of schools have it. 19% of kids are using it. Talk to your kids. Let them know it's okay to let their feelings out or what's going on with them. And if they don't want to talk to you, utilize the school counselor or get them outside help outside of your house or school. Just it's serious. They need to be talked about because we all know what happens when people bottle up their emotions, right? Sometimes it ends in anger. Sometimes it ends in depression. Sometimes it ends in straight up negative results of suicide. And we just never know the result if we're not trying to help. All right. What's next?
Um, so this is actually a newer study or a newer term. It's called high functioning codependency or a high functioning codependent.
Okay.
Um, it's being studied by a therapist named Terry Cole.
Harry
She's worked
Cole
with a lot.
or Terry?
Terry.
Terry. Okay.
She's the only one right now that has any type of information out about it, so that's why it's kind of like slim. She started realizing that there was a lot of people that have this codependent tendency that are very independent and high functioning people. So when you would talk about that in like their counseling sessions to try to help them break out of this one codependent variable that they have, they weren't accepting of it.
Okay.
Because when you tell a very independent, high driven person that is like very successful in their life that they're codependent, they're not very like they won't receive it very well. And when I was reading this, I actually felt very targeted. I felt I was like, yep, I understand all of these.
Yeah,
Um,
Marcus just said, "Why you gotta call me out?"
so high functioning codependence or codependency is a behavior characterized by blurred boundaries or an imbalance in relationships. And kind of like going into it more is it's where you kind of take everything on yourself. You can be very successful, you have a job, you're smart, reliable, accomplished. So, like I said, you don't identify yourself as a dependent because you have everything together. But the issue comes when it comes to work and you can't say no. It comes to work and you can't hand something off because you don't trust people to do it for you because they can't do it right.
Now I'm
So
feeling
you're
attacked.
very you're codependent on yourself to get the job done. Or um, if your partner, friend, sibling comes to you with an issue, how urgent does that issue become to you? You have to fix that problem for them because it's now your problem. You don't have to stay in your own lane. And this kind of goes into different levels of, say, your partner was drunk the night before, so they missed work and their boss called you and you're making up to their boss, oh, they're sick today, that's why they're not in, instead of just letting them take the fall for what they
Oh,
for
that's me
their
all day.
own.
I cover for my guys.
I mean, so you're becoming a high functioning codependent because you feel like you have to cover for them. You're not letting them take their own problem on their own. So you're not staying in your lane. Because when did they ask you for that help?
Right, but also if it's not a frequent thing, then
So
I
that's where
wouldn't
they
just let
start
them
to
take the
say,
fall, because everybody does make bad judgments sometimes or
so
has a
that's
good
where it
night.
isn't. It's
Okay.
when it's when it becomes all the time you're kind of taking it
Okay,
on.
when it's frequent. Okay.
Yeah. One person takes responsibility for filling another's needs. So you're trying to take on all of that, trying to control all aspects of the relationship. Um, becomes a disorganized behavior, and you're trying to do it all out of love. You love this person, so you're just trying to make sure nothing happens, and it becomes like a fear thing. You love this person, so you fear something bad's gonna happen to them. They might lose their job. You guys might do XYZ. You fear that with your job, that person might not do it right, so it's going to reflect badly on you and the company, so you can't hand it off.
That's huge for me.
Um,
And the more we
um,
talk about this, I kind of relate this back to I've always been this way. Back to my mom. I knew she was smoking crack. I knew she was taking me, leaving me outside of these houses while she was in
Mm-hmm.
there doing what she had to do. But I covered for her all the
But
time.
in your head, as I say, in your head, you justify it and you make that person look okay.
Right.
And it's all out of love. And that's why it becomes a fear thing that if you did tell somebody that she was doing that,
Just go to jail.
what would happen?
Hmm.
And then you would lose her.
Hmm.
XYZ.
This is huge. I like this topic.
I heard it. I was just like, I felt so attacked when I
100%.
heard this. And there's not a lot to like there's not a lot of information on it because only one person's studying it right now and it's so new.
It's
But I
wild.
feel like it's such a big thing because
It really is.
you can be such you, and it's impacted me in so many aspects of my life. It's impacted me with friends where I've had to like step back and be like, you have to handle this on your own. It's not my like I can't
I know
take
of a,
this on
a
because
very fresh situation for you that you had to do this with.
exactly because it was draining me. It was causing burnout on me because I was so worried and I just wanted her to make
The
the
right
right
decision.
decision.
Yeah.
But they talk about in this video too that whether you see the right decision or not, they have to make the decision on their own. You can't force them to do it
Just like we say with
because they have to
addiction.
learn. And they say this is so big in addiction and it ties to addiction. So, like, you can have an addictive personality and be so caught up in this
When
because
I
you get
get it. This one hits home a
so.
little harder than I thought it would.
So I'm gonna keep an eye on this as they give more, like as more studies come out. But you start to like drain yourself because you're giving 100% of yourself to these other people, or giving your 100% of yourself to your job, 100% of yourself to XYZ. So you're forgetting who you are, what you need to do, um, based out of the fear and love. You're not staying on your side of the street and you're crossing over without the ass.
Makes sense.
You instantly go into fix it mode the second somebody brings something to you. So it causes burnout. You're easily irritated. Um, and this is where boundaries are required. You have to learn to set boundaries for yourself.
I would
And
love to see the statistic on male versus female in this.
females are higher than males.
They're nurturers.
Yes.
They want to take care of people. They want to protect people. That's in your guys' 1000% nature.
Oh yeah. It's the woman who was doing this, they're saying it is one like especially women in relationships, they instantly like the husband are like, I gotta take care of you. You can't handle yourself by yourself. Like you gotta take care of the kids. And it is men have it the more in like the job
Work.
role
Work.
than the person role.
I can see it. It's all just unraveling in my head right now of like what I can think of the situations, and this could tie into thinking about being in an abusive relationship. I still got to protect him because I love him, even though I know he did wrong.
Yep. And you have to cover up for them so that they don't look bad. You have to do XYZ and you just become this high functioning codependent because a lot of times in abusive relationships, they're still going to work, they're still keeping things together, they're still doing everything that needs to be done. And a lot of times, high functioning codependents, they make it look easy so nobody's checking on them
It's like a functioning
until the
alcoholic
mass
too.
mhm, until the massive blow up happens. And then they're like, well, what's wrong? And you're like, I just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And she also talks about that there is a tie between high functioning codependents and narcissists. They attract each other. Kind of like you're saying, like the abusive relationship, because the high functioning codependent is always going to defend the narcissists.
That's crazy because we'll have to talk offline about that, about a situation that happened with our school bus driver. Fits right into this.
Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all I had for that.
Well,
Till she
that's
gets more.
it's till it
She has
gets
a
more. Yeah,
book
she has a book.
that I want to buy. Yeah, that I want to buy. It's called Boundary Boss, and it talks about this and how you have to set boundaries for yourself, and
Terry
whether it makes you
Cole.
feel like people won't love you if you set these boundaries, which I've struggled with. Like if I tell people no or I have to do this, I struggle that
All right,
people aren't
Boundary
gonna
Boss
really
by
care
Terry
about.
Cole.
Mhm.
Do you have it yet?
No, I'm gonna order it this weekend
Never mind. I was about to
to
order it
get
for you.
paid tomorrow.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Essential Guide to Talk True, Be Seen, and Finally Live Free is the actual title on the book. She got quite a few books out. I like this lady. I have to look into her.
I think she has a YouTube channel where she like shares videos of her studies.
This is one that I'm gonna definitely dig into because, like you said, it you feel attacked, and it makes a lot of sense though. I see so many times in my life, and I still do it to this day. I do it to my wife. I do it to my kids. I do it to coworkers, family members, friends. But why? You know, it's just you always feel like you got to be that protector.
Oh, yep. I heard it on a podcast. She was like a visiting person and she was talking about it. I was like, I felt attacked when I was listening to the podcast, so I dug deeper into it.
It's crazy how sometimes it's just got to slap you in the face for you to understand what's going on, huh?
Yep. And I was like, well, I've already started working on it by setting my own boundaries, but I
Yeah, that one's got my mind running.
figured that's why I picked it and didn't wait.
Yeah, that's good. It's one of those things you got to get immediately in there. Let's go. Would your sure say if I'm
Oh, if I'm too much, go find less.
oh, if you're tired of me, go take a nap. That's one I tell my wife all the time.
A good one.
Yeah. Um, chat. You guys got anything on these subjects? We all know that bullying is huge and mental health in school is huge. Um, we got to do more for the schools. That's all there is to it. I know that the funding is always going to be the major issue. It always comes down to funding when we talk about these things, and it's crazy. And then now this new topic is got me going crazy over here. Also thinking about it. Terry Cole is the she is psychiatrist. They
She's just like she's a therapist or psychiatrist. I'm not.
okay, so therapist that's
Those are two different
doing
things.
studies on it's hyper codependency or codependent
High functioning
or high functioning.
codependency.
Sorry, yeah, high functioning codependency. So she's the only one that has anything on it right now, and I'm sure the more it gets talked about, the more people will be into it, and it is something that needs to be talked about. Great topic, good pick. Um, I
Thank you.
know I myself felt attacked. Mrs. Wi-Fi said she felt attacked. Marcus in chat said he felt attacked. So it hits home for quite a few of us. Just adding to if you have kids and you're struggling yourself, get help. Show your kids it's okay to get help. That is 1000% right, Marcus. That I couldn't have said it better. If you show your kids that it's okay to get help for mental health and depression, they'll be more, I say, or they'll feel more comfortable coming forward themselves. This is in layman's terms.
Mhm.
So we can, the more we make it a common thing and more non-judgmental thing, the faster more people start coming forward with it. I agree, Marcus. Did you get your nail polish? Oh, you
when
did
I
yours.
got
I got mine
mine.
here somewhere too. My wife set it aside for me when it came in the mail yesterday. I'm gonna paint my
Okay.
nails live on stream. Then
Yeah.
we're gonna sell some bottles of nail polish, guys. Loud nail
Okay.
polish.
I was gonna say I was gonna mention it when you were done talking, but you beat
Well,
me
you
to
got
it.
yeah. Go ahead, go ahead. It's yours. It's for you. She sent it to you first. I just wanted to help by painting my nails on stream.
Um, well, I have to grab it. So give me a second.
Okay, go ahead. Chat, show, everybody, be there for each other. You guys got to step up and show love to one another. All right, she's back. Don't talk about her no more.
You
I'm
can
just
talk
kidding.
about me, okay.
All right.
Um, well, I can't paint my nails with you because I already painted my two nails with one
We
of
don't
them.
want to see those things anyways. I'm just kidding.
All right, Jerry. Um, so I think it was last week. I'm gonna leave it. Should I leave it anonymous? I don't know. Like,
What's that?
should I not say names? I don't want to
Just
say names.
mention. I wouldn't mention names. Just do it as in a
Okay.
general statement.
We received a letter last week talking about how much the podcast has helped an individual and a family, and they wanted to show their appreciation by talking about a nail polish group called Loud. And this month, they are releasing a nail polish called Smile, and it's a splatter topper made up of silver, neon blue, sapphire blue, green, and purple hexes. So,
Oh, it's blurred
oh,
out.
okay.
It's not gonna. Yeah, you might be able to. You might have to put your body in front of it and then show it. There you go.
Oh, there we go. So,
It's gonna look great on me.
if you go to, we posted it on our Facebook, so it has the link, but I can't remember the website. You go to Facebook and click on the link for the month of November. It launched on November 1st. It's $12.50 and $5 for each bottle that's sold will be donated to the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention from this person. And then the rest of the organization has different nail polishes, and it talks about each one of the nail polishes, why it has its name, and what it stands
Represent.
for. Yeah.
Awesome.
So they sent me two others. There's the red, actually named Alyssa.
That's why she thought it was fitting.
Yes. And then this one, I don't know what color this is, but it was like a pretty tan-ish.
Tannish brown.
It's like a glitter tan, a
Okay.
shimmer. If you want to go support them, the community that put this together, they have a story to posted on that on Facebook. But a woman put this together during her journey for sobriety. So that's also
Here.
on Facebook as well.
Yep. Guys, if you don't follow the Facebook exclamation FB in chat, it will bring up the Facebook link to the Fly High Wi-Fi Facebook. And you guys can get all that information on there about Loud. Marcus also posted in chat. Also, guys, it is loudbabbs.com. And shortly, I will be doing it live on stream on my nails to help support the cause. And for every bottle that is sold at $12.50, $5 will be then sent to the Suicide Prevention Foundation through Loud. And I think it's amazing that they're doing that and supporting the mission for suicide prevention. So if it there, we're there to support it. We appreciate it. for thinking of us and letting us be one of the people that they send out the product to help promote it.
Yep, always willing and very flattered too, so
You know,
can't wait to see you with some purple, blue, green, you need your fingernails or
you definitely seen these tootsies on screen. I'll tell you that. So I'll do my fingernails. I have to clean them from work first. Marcus, you're amazing, brother. Don't ever forget that. All right. All right. We're gonna leave the other topic for next time.
yeah, we'll leave next time because it
Okay.
took up more than what I thought they would.
Yeah, you attacked me with that last topic.
I tagged myself, so
All right, guys. Again, thank you for being here. It means a lot. And for those who continue to listen when we're not doing the episodes and you're on the other platforms listening to them, previous episodes, everything, it means a lot to us. The supporter is amazing. It always has been since we started this. What episode is this? Do we even know?
26.
26th episode, guys. And they say that most podcasts give up after the fifth. But we're not looking for the highest amount of views to get anywhere. We're just hoping to reach somebody and save somebody's life per day. And you never know who's listening or who stumbles upon it. So we're not going to stop. So again, thank you. Uh, on behalf of myself, Fly High Wi Fi, Mrs. Wi Fi, again, thank you for being here. And till the next time, bye.